Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Throwaway No College 01 from the Relationship Advice subreddit and says, my mum had an affair 18 years ago. I, 18 male, and the product of it. My dad just informed me of all this. Pretty much the title. I have no idea how to process all this, and I'm completely unprepared for what lies ahead. Both my older brother and sister went to the same college. My brother graduated 2 years ago. My sister is set to graduate in 2 years. Both had their college paid by our dad. Dad paid all their college expenses, including rent, food, their cars, pocket money, you name it. My brother has a job now, his own place, lives together with his fiancée, and has his life together. My sister already has a good paying job, and my dad still pays for almost everything for her. I got accepted to the same college, which was always the plan, and was looking forward to talk with my parents about the next steps, and asked them to help me the same they did for my siblings. I always assumed they had money put aside for my college the way they had for my siblings. Instead, I was met with a story about my mum's cheating. I'm the result of her cheating, and how my dad is not willing to support me anymore moving forward. Dad told me that mum had 18 years to let me know and prepare me for the future, but obviously she never did. He said it was never his place to say anything since I am not his son, and didn't want to interfere with mum's parenting. Apparently my grandparents know I'm not dad's biological son, but they haven't bothered to tell me anything either. My siblings had no idea, and they are as surprised as I am because there was never a hint of anything being off. I might be naive, but I always thought I had a great relationship with my dad. We go to see sports together, we go fishing together, he tutored me when I had difficulties with math. Dad is an engineer. He taught me to drive. I never got a hint he stores resentment towards me. I mean, he gave me my name, and has explained what my name means, and he was very proud of it. It's a story he tells from time to time. He likes to talk about stuff like that about me. Mum has never said a word about anything, and apparently she was supposed to have the talk with me, but she never did. I feel abandoned and unprepared for what lies ahead. I'm not even sure I'll be able to go to college anymore. I always assume my parents will pay for it. I never had a job, and I'm not sure what job I can even get to support me through college. I have no idea how to apply for loans. All my mum has done is cry and apologize, but nothing of substance. She has no idea how to help me. I don't even know if I'm welcome home anymore. It's all up in the air. I feel shame leaving my room, and if I'll be asked to move out, I don't know where to go. I don't have any savings, maybe $400 put together. I'm angry at my mum. I'm confused about where I stand with my dad. There's a man out there who is my father that never wanted to have anything to do with me. I feel rejected and have no idea what to do to fix this situation. Anyone have any idea what to do here? Do I apologize to my dad? What do I say to him? I don't know. I've been stuck in my room these past few days, reading and browsing Reddit. I have no idea what to do. Edit, comments are coming in faster than I can reply. I'm making a list with all the advice and about financial aid, health insurance, getting my own phone plan, etc. Things I didn't even think about before. Thank you everyone. I will try to answer as much as I can, but there's more comments than I can handle. Ugh, that is absolutely awful, and OP is just the total innocent party in this situation, and he shouldn't be apologizing for anything. Because in my opinion, both parents are an absolute disaster in this. Mum had 18 years to figure this out and just chose to stick her head in the sand, whilst Dad played this loving father role for nearly 2 decades. And OP was saying fishing trips, homework help, everything, played the dad role, which it sounded like OP felt like they had a loving relationship, and then dropped this bomb on him at the worst moment when OP needed his stability the most. And it sounded like held this secret resentment towards a kid who literally had zero control over being born. All in all, it could have been handled years ago with honesty, and that's as simple as that. So I think it's just bloody awful. Someone says, did your dad know from the beginning that you were born from an affair? Is his name listed on your birth certificate? Opie says he knew from the beginning, as far as I understand. It's not recent news. He knew for 18 years. I tried talking with Mum, but she hasn't been very helpful. Burst out into tears and no productive discussion can be had. Until a few days ago, as far as I knew. He was my dad in any and all aspects. His name is on my birth certificate. I'm 18, a few months past it. Not sure what legal responsibility he still has. Someone says, are your parents already divorced or did they just split up? Did they stay together for the kids? Opie says, no, my parents are not divorced. I don't think they stayed together for the kids. As far as I can see, they've been very loving with each other. Go on dates, go on vacations together. Dad always takes Mum with him on his business trips. I don't think this makes a lot of sense. Someone says, does your father resent you? Opie says, I don't know if he resents me or what is happening, to be honest. We've had a normal relationship as far as I can tell. He was there for me always, and I can compare my childhood to that of my friends. I think mine was better. Someone says, did your parents do a DNA test to confirm paternity? Opie says, I don't know, but Dad seemed pretty sure of it. And by how my mum reacted and reacts right now, I suppose they know it to be true for sure. Someone says, does your older siblings know? Opie says, I only talk with them about me not being Dad's natural son. They don't know about the college thing yet. They're each out of town for a few more days. We'll talk to them when they come back. My siblings are not here right now. My sister is on a trip with her boyfriend and will be gone for another week. My brother is away with his fiancée to visit her parents. They are semi-aware of the situation, but I only talk with them about me not being Dad's natural son. I guess sooner or later, they will have something to say. I don't know. I try and see if my brother can offer me a place to stay if my parents kick me out. I don't know. Someone says, ask your bio dad for help. Opie says, I don't know who that man is. He was never in my life. I can't just show up in someone else's life. I'm your son. Money for college, please. I don't even know if my parents know where he lives anymore. Didn't sound like they kept in touch. All I was told was that Mum had an affair. I'm the product of that affair. Here we are, 18 years later. Someone says, can your mum help you? Opie says, I've only heard my dad's side of things. Mum isn't really talking with me right now. Mum doesn't work. She stayed home and raised us, so she doesn't have any money of her own as far as I know. I don't know. I'm not really aware of our financial situation. And one more comment that said, how are your parents with each other? Opie says, no indication they may have a divorce anytime soon was ever obvious to me. 2 months ago, they had their 27th wedding anniversary. They went to Spain. They had a blast. Not so long ago, I stumbled onto them in the kitchen acting like horny teenagers, hands all over one another, giggling and so on. And this is not an isolated instance. They are intimate and display their intimacy quite often. Kisses, hugs, call each other during the day, go on dates, go on vacations together. If Dad had a business trip, he always takes Mum with him and so on. These are not people that faked it till they raised the kids as others have suggested. Or people that are on the edge of divorce, but put up with a nice veil to hide the truth. Someone suggested we may be bankrupt and this is why the situation is unfolding as it is. But that doesn't make a lot of sense. We're definitely not behaving like a family that is bankrupt. I have no idea. Within the post, Opie comes in with their first update and says, sorry to disappear. Nothing bad happened to me. Managed to talk with my mum yesterday, but I chickened out halfway through what I had to say. The good news is I'm not being kicked out or disowned, etc. Thank you for all the support, everyone. I will follow through and call financial aid at my college in a few hours and take it from there. My grandpa had a stroke a week ago, and my dad is helping my grandma with setting up a live-in nurse, so he wasn't around yesterday. I will let you know how I manage. Thank you again. Update again. Sorry for not updating. My grandpa passed away yesterday morning. Nothing happened to me, but my situation is a secondary concern right now. Regardless, I think I'll be alright. Thanks to your amazing support and help. My sister is aware of everything and told me not to worry. She has my back and I have her support. I promise to update when and if there are any significant changes. Right now, I need to support my grandma. Thank you again to everyone. It was around a week later that Opie came in with what they titled their final update and said the reaction to my original post put an uncomfortable amount of pressure on me to write this update. I'm not sure if it's what you want to hear, but things are more or less back to a normal state if you consider other events. Unfortunately, my grandpa died at the beginning of this week and I'm still processing it. I did manage to talk with both my mum and dad, and I know where I stand in relation with them, as well as my siblings. I'm not sure I would have the courage to say what I had to say if not for the amount of help and advice in the comments. I think it's safe to say both my parents love me, and what happened 2 weeks ago was no reaction to a fight between my parents. It makes me uncomfortable knowing I'm not aware of my own environment, but a stranger in the comments can tell me what's happening in my life with only a few lines of text from my side. A lot of comments were spot on about what is happening in my life. I've so far went through 40%, I estimate, of the comments, but I've given up. There are too many for me to keep up with. The conclusion is that I'm definitely going to college. It will be the college I've always wanted to go to, and I will have the same experience as my siblings. The money to pay for all this already exists. My family is not going bankrupt as suggested. My dad just had a mental breakup with all the issues around my grandpa and his fight with my mum. Even if my dad would have went through with his decision, my grandma let me know my grandpa left me, and my siblings are some. We will have to split between the three of us, but enough to put me through college. What started the entire scandal was poor timing on my part. My parents just had a fight, and then I showed up, hey, pay for my college. My parents were talking about us, their children, and mum said something along the lines of, to think you wanted to split up when I came back pregnant, or something like that. I was not there. This is what she told me. I guess dad was talking about how proud he was of his children, and mum wanted to express her gratitude for dad raising me as his own, and dad took it as the affair was the best decision I ever made or something like that. And their fight escalated from there, and mum told dad something like, what makes you think any of them are yours? Yeah, it went downhill from there fast. Shortly after that, my dumb face showed up and here I am. Dad and mum have since made up. Mum is still a mess. Dad is not handling my grandpa's passing away too well either. I did talk with my siblings, and my sister raised a storm and rode it here while blasting my parents on the phone. My brother was calmer but made his feelings known in no uncertain terms, as well as once he got back home. My grandpa passing away sort of kept his spirits calm, I guess, and shifted the focus to dealing with that. Reading the comments was a mind-opening experience. I felt unprepared for the world out there. Many have asked how I had no idea how to apply for loans or grants. Well, in my defense, when you go year after year after year knowing you have nothing to worry about, that your college is good as paid for already, you don't really have to worry about anything else. Of course, I knew there are loans and other things students have to be aware of, but it didn't apply to me. I went from, I'm going to college, can't wait, to, you're not my son and I will not pay for your college in less than 24 hours. Others have been prepared for this. At the very least, they knew they had to get a loan or get a job, look for a place to live and so on. For me, it was a sudden change in reality. Going through the comments, I managed to put a list together with various tips and tricks. What jobs are available for students, how to find a place to live, how to get a credit card, a bank account, a cell phone plan and so on. Really good stuff that I think, even after the return to normal, will help me. My parents have been called more names than they go by, and that was uncomfortable to read. And I haven't read all the comments. I can't even imagine what else lies in the comments, waiting. Dad is very sorry, apologetic about his reaction and behavior. I understand his reaction, but I still feel hurt by it. I understand he was not in the best place of mind, but I can't control my feelings either. We will be alright, and this hasn't irreparably damaged our relationship. Mum hasn't handled everything that well, but she's coming around and she answered some more questions for me. When Mum had an affair years ago and got pregnant with me, my parents started divorce. Mum moved in with the man she had an affair with, but after a few months that guy decided he wants nothing to do with it. He kicked Mum out and she had nowhere to go. So my grandparents took her in, because she was still the mother of their nephew's grandkids. I'm getting a lot of heat for this mistake, but knowing my family's culture, grandparents call their grandkids nephews as well. Mum and Dad got back together after a lot of work. Dad took me as his own, and that's my life since then. The man who is my natural father is not in the picture anymore. Dad didn't really know who he is, and Mum hasn't heard or seen him ever since. He was fully aware Mum was pregnant with his child. I guess he had more important things to do, but it doesn't sound like he was about to cure world hunger. She met him in a bar, not at a fundraiser, and I don't feel a need to know any more about who he is. I thought about the matter the last 2 weeks since I've been aware of everything, and I haven't really felt a desire to know who he is, where he is, if he's still alive, if I have other siblings out there. I was suggested to go and buy a DNA kit from 23andMe. Maybe I can find him that way. But I think I will avoid doing this specifically so I don't find him or he finds me. As far as I care, I have a mum and dad and a brother and sister, and that's my family. Moving forward, I do plan on getting a job and becoming more independent, but not in an attempt to distance myself from my family, but to feel like I would not be lost in the world if my family suddenly disappears. My mum admits I've been babied way more than my siblings, and that they should have prepared me more for what's coming next. I did learn where I stand with my family, and it's safe to say that I am loved and I have options. I thought I am isolated, but my world is wider than I thought. Grandparents, siblings, my aunt, my cousins, all have my back. I think my parents are human and they make mistakes, and even though this was not their greatest moment, I think I will look at everything as nothing more than a weak moment in an otherwise wonderful relationship. Thank you. Edit. In my family's cultural background, grandparents call their grandkids nephews as well. Stop calling me names. It was not a mistake. Please. The top commenters on this one said, "Sorry about your grandpa, but I'm relieved it ended on a good note. It looks like you've already sorted out how you're going to deal with this from here. Thanks for the update, and good luck." Joshua replies saying, "Yeah, he definitely made a good choice to not distance himself from family and to become more independent. Despite the small blemishes, they have treated him well. Sometimes your real father to you is not your real father." The Vampire Barlow says, "I just want to say, my sister raised a storm and rode it here is an amazing turn of phrase." HD quoting that and saying, "That and my parents have been called more names than they go by were my two favorite expressions in this post." Panicked Poodle says, "Sorry OP, but a big part of becoming an adult is learning that your parents are just flawed human beings. Sounds like you were collateral damage because your parents could never resolve your mum's infidelity. You will all get past it. Let your dad know, if you can, that you understand this week has been horribly stressful and that people say things they don't mean. So sorry about your grandfather." Clay says, "Your last paragraph is spot on. It's a sobering experience when you realize your parents are winging things just like everyone else. They're human, imperfect, screw up, hurt the ones they love, same as all of us. Sorry you had to find out the way you did. That experience would have sucked, but hopefully you all move on from there and keep loving each other. Good luck." And OP responds one more time saying, "This is what my sister said, but that didn't stop her from making her feelings on the matter very clear to my parents. I love my sister. My brother too, but he is more calculated and tempered. My sister is lightning in a bottle, but nobody put her in the bottle. She went there of her own volition. When she decides to open the little, oh god, it's a sight." And I just think bloody good on the sister. She sounds like a character, doesn't she? I'm not sure how I felt after that one. I totally got what OP was saying, about grief, stress, we're all humans, etc. Humans make mistakes, blah, blah, blah. But I just still couldn't help but feel absolutely devastated for OP. It just felt like both of these parents threw OP under the bus because of their own unresolved drama. Mum having 18 years to figure out how to handle the situation, and then dad knowing this from day one and decided to weaponize it at the worst moment. It just felt like it was intended to hurt. And I just feel like it's just way more than, this is a weak moment. It was 18 years of these choices and then exploded and hurt the most innocent person in the room. I'm not saying that their dad couldn't be hurt by the cheating, because of course you would, but to take it out on him, it just feels shit to me. But still, regardless going forward, I hope things do work out as well as they can in this. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Our next story comes from Outside Spend 2226 from the Coworker Stories subreddit, and says, "My coworker acts like my manager and I'm losing my mind. I swear, my coworker Alicia has a secret job title, and it's my unofficial, unwanted micromanager. We have the exact same role. We report to the same person. We have the same responsibilities. Yet somehow in her mind, she's my direct supervisor. It's a daily thing. Our actual manager will assign me a task, and 5 minutes later I get a message from Alicia. Hey, just checking in on the report for Mark, our boss. Let me know if you need me to review it before you send it. She never offers to help, only to review. Last week in a team meeting, our boss assigned me a project. She immediately chimed in with, "Great, and you can make sure to send me the draft by end of day Wednesday? I want to give it a once over before it goes up the chain." She said this in front of everyone, including our actual boss, who just kind of blinked. I'm a non-confrontational person, so I usually just say, "Okay, thanks," but inside, I'm screaming. The breaking point was this morning. She walked over to my desk, pointed at my screen and said, "You should really format that data differently. Just stop what you're doing and I'll send you the template I use. It's much better." I just looked at her. "I don't work for you. We are peers." I'm so tired of having to manage her attempts to manage me. It's like having two bosses, but I only get paid for one. Has anyone else dealt with a shadow manager on their team? How'd you get them to back off without making it a huge HR issue? Casey Bug says, if she asks to review something again, just say, "No thanks, I'll get my boss to do that." You can politely decline her attempts, and if she continues to insist, I would go to your supervisor immediately to ask for an org chart clarifications and have them share it with her. Broke but Useful says, "I'll get our boss to do that." 2NPAC says, "You all really need to learn how to speak up and stand up for yourselves." Prestigious Rip replies saying this, "I had a coworker who acted like this, and about the second week she persisted with it. I said, 'We're peers, Jennifer. Why are you acting like I work for you? This is weird.' She got kind of snippy and had to be reminded periodically, but I just kept doing it. She claimed that because I was so young, she forgot I had the same job title as she had. To this day, she remains the worst engineer I've ever met in my life, which explains not progressing past mid-career titles when being nearly pension eligible. I actually believe she genuinely struggled to retain basic information. But I digress. The point is, keep reminding the person they're not your boss and they will stop." 2 weeks later, OP updates and says a couple of weeks ago I posted about my coworker, Alicia, who decided to make herself my unofficial boss even though we're on the exact same level. Since then, things have definitely escalated. The last straw was when our manager gave me a 2-week project. Not even 10 minutes later, Alicia messaged me saying, "Can you send me progress updates every couple of days so I can make sure it's on track?" That was the moment I realized I couldn't keep letting this slide. Instead of confronting her directly, I tried an experiment. I ignored her check-ins completely and only sent updates to our actual manager when they were due. And nothing bad happened. No one cared. The work got done and life moved on. Then came the team meeting. As expected, Alicia jumped in with her usual line. "I'll review it before it goes up the chain." This time I spoke up. I said, "Thanks, but Mark already approved the draft," and looked at our boss while saying it. His reaction was priceless. It was like he suddenly realized what had been happening all along. After the meeting, he pulled me aside and actually apologized. He told me to always send work directly to him and said he'd speak to Alicia. Since then, I haven't gotten a single unsolicited review request. She still had that same bossy energy, but at least she's not breathing down my neck anymore. I feel a little guilty for not addressing it with her face to face, but honestly, it's not my job to manage her behavior. Right now, things feel lighter. I can only focus without feeling like someone's peeking over my shoulder. So I'm torn. Do I just enjoy the peace and leave it alone? Or should I have an actual conversation with her in case she tries creeping back into shadow manager role? Mr. Spook says enjoy the peace. Addressing it with her will likely only escalate the situation. If you do choose to address it with her, I would do it as an email, as you will have receipts if she chooses to rip shit. Opie says, I like this. What Ratings Pressure says leave it alone. You want your boss to see you as non-antagonistic. Alicia will supply all the rope needed to hang herself with in due time. Opie says got it. We'll leave it alone then. Thanks. Oof, power dynamics in the workplace. But what do you guys make of this situation? How would you deal with it if it was you? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.